The All Blacks have just announced their lineup for the second test match up against Australia, and there's some big returns and also a few surprises across this 23-man side. Now, Australia will announce their team in around an hour, and they are anticipating big returns for the Wallabies too, but New Zealand is looking like a pretty strong side taken to the field for this match. But jumping straight into it, in the front row, it will be number 1, Tamaiti Williams, number 2, Cody Taylor, and number 3, Fletcher Knowles. So no Tyrell Lomax, and also there is no Ethan de Groot. Lomax looked like he was nursing a bit of an injury near the end of the last contest, and Tamaiti Williams replacing de Groot, who did not travel due to an HIA. In the locking duo, this is where we do see the return for New Zealand. Scott Barrett as the number 4, and he also takes back the captaincy for this contest. He has a bit of a history at Optus Stadium, got himself recarded at this ground, same with his brother only a couple years later, but Barrett will be happy to be back, his shoulder back to 100% as well. We'll be able to add quite a bit for that locking duo. Number 5, it is Tupavai, so they have decided to keep him in the locks rather than transitioning onto the blind side. And in the loose forward trio, this is where we do see a change. Number 6, Simon Parker, number 7, Ardie Savia, who returns as vice-captain, and number 8, this is where they have gone with Peter Larkai. Now, that is a dangerous trio for the ABs. They have instead opted for Wallace Satiti off of the bench, but Larkai's got a lot of ability, a lot of physicality, and loves getting the turnovers in the breakdown as well. Moving on to the backline, it will be Cam Roigard as the starting 9 with Damian McKenzie slotting in at 10. So the obvious choice rather than Beauden Barrett, who is out with the shoulder injury. So because of that, it means that we see that new combo for the 9 and 10. In the centres, it will be Geordie Barrett slotting in at number 12 with number 13 being Quinn Tupaia. So they have given him the outside centre role here. No Billy Proctor for this contest. Tupaia having some great impact off the bench in the last match up against Australia. Geordie Barrett remaining as that 12 option. He's played a huge amount of minutes throughout this Rugby Championship, and it will just be an intriguing duo. See what these two men can do in the midfield. In the back three, this is where we do see a change. Now, due to Caleb Clark's injury, it meant there was always going to be a switch on this left wing side. As the week has progressed, I've said more and more that it looked unlikely that Clark was going to be able to play, but it is Leicester Fainanuku who will be slotting in as that left wing option. This is a big surprise, but it is something that has been expected for quite a few weeks. Originally, Leicester Fainanuku was ineligible to play for New Zealand up until November, so obviously Scott Robertson has got that exemption, which means that he can come in, and I guess with the amount of injuries at the moment for the ABs, it does make sense as to why Fainanuku finds himself out on the wing, but he brings a lot of power. He has had some very solid games in the Bunnings NPC for Tasman. He'll be looking forward to his international return for the All Blacks here. Out on the right wing, it is once again Leroy Carter. He's been tearing it up in his first couple games for New Zealand. He has got a lot of physicality, a lot of speed alongside that, and will always try and get that big hit in. And hopefully it is Corey Toole again that he is facing. Those two going head-to-head just like back in the Sevens days. It's always entertaining. And then number 15, it is Will Jordan, and this will be his 50th game for New Zealand, so a milestone match. And also some would consider this as a milestone in the right direction for this All Black side. Few changes here compared to what some were anticipating. A little bit more of a experimental side per se, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. For this match, off of the bench, it is Samisoni Taukei'aho as the number 16, number 17, George Bower. Now, there is no Ollie Norris due to injury. He has got a back problem at the moment, so it was either going to be Bower or Mafaleo, and in this case, they went with the experienced veteran Bower. Number 18, it is Basilio Tossi, so he does get his return, partnering with Bower as a replacement front row. 19, Patrick Tuipulotu. He added a nice impact off the bench for New Zealand in the first test, and I do think alongside him, just that work later on in the game from the ABs did stop Australia from that late comeback that we are used to seeing throughout this Rugby Championship. Number 20, this is where we do see Wallace Satiti, such a dangerous option off the bench, and I mentioned about it earlier on in the week. Satiti and Larkai could just transition between starting and that number 20 jersey. Both of them can play all three positions in the loose forward trio, so you could honestly go week for week switching those two and still have a very good side each and every time. Number 21, Cortez Ratama. Number 22, Rico Ioane. So he finds himself off the bench for this game. I assume that is just for a little bit of wing as well as centre cover in this case. He can play both. and then number 23, Ruben Love, who will be hoping for more than 5 minutes at the end of this game, as there is plenty of potential for an impact off the bench. For this upcoming second test match of the Bledisloe Cup, now the trophy's already in the cabinet for New Zealand, but Australia, they will feel confident going into this game that if they fine-tune a couple things, they may be right in it. They will have a strong-looking team, and they were a valiant challenger at Eden Park, but this one taking place in Australia. See what happens out there on the field, but I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Do let me know what you think of this side in the comments down below. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and be sure to also tune in for our commentary on the weekend too, and I will see you all for the next one.